It's more topsy-turvy for everybody else than it is for me. You know, I'm not I hate losing. I don't stomach it well. I don't deal with it well, but I'll be back at work tonight.
Okay, so we're 10 games into the Brad Stevens era. They went 4-6 in those 10 games. It was a pretty torrid start, and then they went really hot, beat the Heat in a pretty memorable game. Jimmy, let's start with the offense.
Pretty memorable? That's the game of the year. Just watch that game.
It's the game of the first 10 games.
Just watch that 81 more times.
You're better off just watching that game in place of every Celtics game from now on this season.
Yeah, they had 9 very boring games and that one, basically.
So, I mean, their offense, it doesn't seem very consistent. They try to run some creative plays, but it's mostly either throwing it into the post or just taking 3-point shots.
Yeah, it's not
just letting Jordan Crawford.
Yeah, or letting Jordan Crawford do what he wants. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of improv, to be honest. I mean, I think you have to play that way. I think sometimes you got to go with the hot hand. If you're Brad Stevens, go with the guy. If Jordan Crawford's feeling it, give the ball to him. I mean, I think giving the ball to Celly down low is their best option because I think he's their most skilled player offensively in the post. But like a guy like Avery Bradley is not going to carry you offensively. A guy like Courtney Lee is only going to get so many minutes, and
those are guys that are going to show up.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and the truth is that most NBA teams do this. Like, not everybody has a LeBron or a Kevin Durant or even an Aldridge, and most teams have to rely on whoever's hot from any given night. Like, people keep saying that they want Jeff Green to be like that takeover guy. He just isn't that player. And like, if we can just accept that and accept the fact that they're going to rely on a different guy each night. That's just how they're going to be.
I think Jeff Green's kind of streaky too. I think.
Right, they all are.
He's on.
Yeah, I mean, when Avery Bradley's on, he's on.
But he's on more so. But
when
when Green's on, he's on more so than player X on the Celtics.
Yeah, well, the thing though is that the difference between Jeff Green and all of the other good swingmen in the league is when there's 2 minutes left and it's a 4-point game, you send everybody to the corners and let them go one-on-one. Have we even seen Jeff Green do that yet? I mean,
don't
Jeff
think
Green
he's
doesn't seem like he's the closing guy.
Let's just give up on that.
I don't think he's the guy that's going to just he's not going to hold the ball at the top of the 3-point line and dribble it out and drive to the hoop. But I do trust him with the ball at the end of the game. I think he's proven that numerous times that he can score late in the game.
And he's shown that he's ready and wants to drive right at guys, especially in transition. He's done that
when
very
he gets
well.
out in the break, he's one of the best guys, I think, in the league that, in transition, like you just said, in the open court. He's so fast, he's athletic. I mean, he can dunk. Obviously, we've seen him dunk. I mean, he has the outside shot.
He's not Jared Solinger. He can't dunk the ball.
Right.
I mean, he has the outside shot that's not a very high percentage. I mean, he can score in transition, but who can't? I mean, like, what can he actually do that's like a plus skill that's impressive? Like, he can't create his own shot in a half-court offense yet. And, like, 7th year in the league, you got to develop that eventually, right?
Well, the things that you're saying that he can't do is he can't do those consistently throughout the game, but he does. He does do it. Some games he's pretty good at it, and then some games not so much. But you look at his
code for just not very good.
Like tonight,
like if he were a better player, he would more consistently do things well. But he's just not good enough.
He's a good player. He's not a great player.
I would say every player on the Celtics could be considered inconsistent. I mean, no one's a superstar player.
Yeah, I mean that's what teams that are not very talented say.
Right.
Like. Yeah.
Well, Favarani, I think, consistently almost airballs a 3 every single game.
But yeah, so 10 games in.
You have no sense of humor tonight, do you?
No, I laughed. I promise I did.
Reluctantly.
Deep down inside,
we're talking about Celtics 10 games.
10 games in.
Where are they? I think 4-6 is better than I probably thought they were going to be at. Okay. I don't think that they're going to continue the 4 and. I don't think every 10 games is going to be.
So 4-6 is better than where you think they should be at this point, based on what they've done.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I think that, but I picked them to win south of 30 games. I think I even said maybe 20 to 25 games, 24 games maybe.
Well, this is where I'm going to brag because preseason I did say 32 or 34 wins, and 40% times 82 is 32.8.
32.8 wins.
So I'm exactly right.
You're on pace 10 games.
And I think they can repeat a 4-6 run every 10 games. Like I think you're going to play some good teams like Houston, and Minnesota, and San Antonio, and Indiana. And you're going to lose those.
And that's going to be.
You're also going to play some bad teams and win those, and this is repeatable.
That's a disaster. That's probably a disaster for Danny Ainge if that's what happens.
I think Danny Ainge was prepared for this. I think Danny Ainge knows that he's got a 32, 34 win team. And, I don't know. That's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, Portland has had 32, 34 win seasons, and they've just improved gradually. Indiana, who we're going to see next week, they've had some 32 and 34 win seasons. They improved gradually. I mean, the Pacers didn't get a top 5 pick ever.
Because those teams drafted incredibly. They found gold mine draft picks.
Right. The Pacers never had a top 10 pick or a top 9 pick or something. Yeah. But they found guys like Hibbert and Paul George and just built. Danny Ainge has to do that now.
He's doing it. I mean, he's got a few pretty good players in the middle of the first round so far. So that's the question: is can
Yeah.
they need one more guy? Clearly,
more
Well,
than
Danny
one
Ainge
guy.
is skilled at picking outside the lottery. I
Yeah.
mean, you look at Rondo, Perkins, Tony Allen, Al Jefferson; those guys are all picks between 20 and 28. Like, that's what he does. He finds
And
those guys.
Olenek, Bradley, and Solinger, the guys on the roster right now that are playing pretty well. And Jordan Crawford, was he a first-round pick? Can't remember. We'll give Danny credit for
27.
that one. There you go.
He was late first, but
That sounds
what's
right,
good? What's good
whatever.
about this
but
upcoming
those picks
draft?
are good. But what about Juwan Johnson? What about?
I mean,
those
nobody
guys?
hits every time on the 20-something pick.
Yeah, there's a
That's
Jawan
impossible.
Johnson and J.R. Giddens every once in a
Yeah,
while out
exactly.
there.
Those-
Okay,
those-
enough draft talk. Enough draft talk.
Fair enough.
Let's
But it comes back to the draft because
Yeah.
if you go 4-6 every 10 games, all I'm saying is you're just stuck in mediocrity.
yeah, well,
My point is that
Nobody in the
stuckness is
locker room's
overrated.
in-
You can get out of that stuckness
It's
by
gotta be
making
lucky.
good decisions. You can also make good decisions. Like, finding Will
Sure.
Hibbert and Paul George wasn't luck. That was good scouting. The Celtics can do that too.
Why haven't they?
the thing is, the guys in the locker room aren't invested in trying to get a top 5 pick.
Oh no, absolutely not. I don't expect them to.
Yeah.
No,
I don't
and-
expect them to try to lose games.
Yeah,
I
you
just-
can't tank in Boston. Like, there's
No,
there's
definitely
too much of a fan base and a
The only-
TV contract and all
And
these
guys
reasons
drink
that you,
too much at the game for that.
The tanking is in the off season with the GM. It ends at game one. Game
in the
one
trade
it ended.
deadline.
And the trade,
For the
yeah,
GM.
exactly. Well, the
Which which is pretty clear is going to happen with
the
the way
only
that
person who can tank is the GM. The coach isn't
Yeah.
going to tank. The players aren't going to tank. We don't want them to tank. You want at least if you whatever roster you bring out there, you want to see 100%.
and why are we even talking about this? They're not 2-8. They're 4-6. They're a respectable 500-ish team. Like,
Sure.
we don't need to talk about tanking. It's
and they
fine.
don't even
They're not-
have the guy that makes the entire team run.
They're not tanking.
Where is that?
exactly. And when Rondo comes back, which it sounds like maybe like late December or something like that.
Oh, I thought you meant Keith Bogans. Oh, Rondo. Okay.
No, Marshawn Brooks.
Oh no, they have him. He played tonight.
Yeah,
remember?
it was awesome. I
The
said- I
human
call- I
white
call-
flag this year.
I
yeah.
call him the anti-Gino because every time,
Exactly,
every time you see him,
exactly.
it's like, ew.
I can't wait to see
must be
Marshawn
losing by a
Stan's
lot.
moves.
Gino,
Yeah.
who's that? Never heard of him.
All right, well, I guess we can't even talk about the defense. That ran too long. We'll come back for one more video
Nobody
and talk
cares
about the
about the
defense,
defense anyway.
and then we'll go to boxing and bowling.
It's a long season. It's a long season for everybody. Everybody's going to have ups and downs, and round and rounds. So you're gonna have to just manage it and try to be as good as you can be tomorrow. I mean, it's just like we talked before. There's no time to sulk. I mean, the stretch we're about to go on is as tough as it gets.